Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is Friday, August the 15th, last day of the week. As for the overall markets today, just a little bit of divergence between the SPY and Q. So, SPY is back at all time highs, where the Q's lagging just a little bit behind. As for some of the names that we're looking for, we'll take a look at this here in a second. Good morning. What's up, everyone? We do have core retail sales that is going to be at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, along with consumer sentiment today, which is going to be very important. That's going to be at 10 a.m. So we're going to do the exact same thing as yesterday. We're just going to wait for the first 30 minutes, and then we'll develop our game plan after core retail sales. Good morning. What's up, everyone? Let me actually just pull this up here really quickly. As you can see, for the economic calendar, we do have some news here at 8:30, which is the core retail sales, as I mentioned. And then we have some 10 a.m. red folder news, which is going to be the prelim consumer sentiment. And we also have potentially Trump speaking here as well. All right, before we go into the charts, what's up, everyone? What's up, B Roots, KO? Good morning, Jeff, Arnold, Non-Tolly. What's up, Mud? What's up, JT, Ryan? Good morning, Monty, Juan. Detecto, what's up, Martin, Mozzie, Wayne, Daniel, Vate, Cuba, what's up, Hartik, what's up, Hugo, Carlos, Candy, Victor, I am, what's up, Juan, Kirby, Patrick, Wallace, Chris, Audrey, Vivi. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's go over the major indices and some of the tech names, and then we will wait for core retail sales. So first things first, let's go on to the ES. As you can see here for the ES, we actually just recently made a new all-time highs in the overnight session. And for the overall SPY in itself, you can see similar thing. We end up making a new high here in the overnight session, where the QQQ you can see is lagging a bit behind. So you can see definitely this week the ES has been a little bit stronger than the NQ itself, whereas right, we haven't had too much continuation on the overall tech names. A lot of it has just been consolidating. There hasn't been too much continuation above its previous day highs. There hasn't been as much momentum compared to the previous week as well. So for the ES, the key levels coming into today that I have marked out. Number one, now it's going to be our high that we created here on Wednesday. And then we also have your previous day highs marked out. So we can actually just mark out this level, which is going to be your 6502. As for this level, we can just refine this one a little bit as well. So what we have here is going to be our Wednesday's highs, which is our 6502. We also have this level marked out, which is our previous day highs, 6492. So you can see on ES, we end up having this nice push in the overnight session. We're now coming back to retest this general area. What I would like to see for any continuation here now on the ES coming into today is going to be the reclaim back above your 6502. What I like to see is the reclaim back above this level, hold for this continued pushback towards the upside. Another possible scenario is now going to be the hold of your previous day highs. That is also still in play above your 6492 here on the ES. If we're looking for the SPY chart, similar thing here. What I would like to see now is really maintain above your previous day highs, which is your 645. As long as you can maintain this level, we like to see this continue push towards the upside. Another level that I have marked out is our Wednesday's highs as well. So either scenario is looking good, right? Either the hold of your 645, or now it's going to be the reclaim and hold back above your 646 here for this continued pushback towards the upside. So that's what we have for SPY coming into today. We are at all-time highs. The higher time frames are still very much intact. We do have news, so that's the only thing that could potentially move this towards the downside. So we'll keep an eye out on core retail sales along with consumer sentiment coming to market open. But the game plan really today is most likely to wait for that first 30 minutes to play out, just because we do have red folder news at 10 a.m. So unless we can have a clear opening play or any of these tech names have relative strength, you probably just want to wait for that first 30 minutes and then look for a potential trading opportunity after that consumer sentiment comes out. So That's what we have for the SPY. As for the NQ, key levels that we have marked out is still your Tuesday's highs. You're not able to get above your Tuesday's highs and hold. You can see just a little bit more consolidation here on the NQ. For some upside, we have to reclaim back above your Tuesday's highs, 23,940, for any sort of pushback towards the upside here on the overall markets. If we end up rejecting off this level, we're just going to come right back in between its previous day's range. As for the QQQ, key levels that we have marked out in this case is our 577 yesterday. We had our 580. And now what we like to see is a reaction that we have off of this 580 key level. So for the QQQ, as you can see, we have multiple touches in this general area. For some upside, it's going to have to reclaim back above your 580 for any sort of continued pushback towards the upside. If we reject off this area, we're just going to be right in between its previous day's range. So coming into today, we are going to open up right in between its previous day's range here for the QQQ. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just consolidate until consumer sentiment, which is going to be at 10 a.m. So basically the exact same game plan here, unless we have a really strong push right off the gates and we potentially gravitate up and towards your previous day highs. I'll be more hands off until 10 a.m. As for now, some of the tech names that we're looking for coming into today, Nvidia here still consolidating. We've been consolidating for the better part of the last 6 days. We haven't had too much opportunity on this one. If we just drew out this box, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so 6 days of consolidation here in between our 184 along with our 179.50. So really not too much has happened on this ticker. As I mentioned, the best trading opportunity is going to come when we break above this 184. When we're able to break above this 184, that's going to present one of the best opportunities. That is going to be your all-time highs break, plus your consolidation break, plus this flat top break potentially forming here as well. So that's why we have your 184 marked out. We're waiting for that break above. At least for today, the key levels that we're going to have marked out is going to be your previous day lows, 179, along with this key level, which is our 182.50. If you do want to see some more upside, break above your 182.50 for this continuation towards the upside. As for AMD, this key level that we have marked out is our Monday's highs. So we still have your Monday's highs marked out. You can see we have multiple touches in this general area. What we like to see here for AMD now is the reaction that I have off 180 once again. And then we also have the top of the level, which is our 185. So these two are key levels here on AMD. If you can maintain your 180, you're going to be looking for the potential bounce for a continuation higher, or now it's going to be the break back above your 185 hold for this pushback towards the upside as well. So let's actually just mark out these levels. So these are the levels I have for AMD coming into today. As for Apple, this one's continuing to show strength. So Apple, you can see so far fairly bullish coming into this week. We broke above your last week's highs. We broke above Tuesday's highs as well. So far basing above our 230.50. A very similar setup here to AMD, but what we like to see now on Apple is going to be the break above, right? Either consolidation, opening range break for this push up and towards your 235, or now it's going to be the break above your 235 hold for this continued push towards the upside. Another possible scenario is going to be the bounce all the way down and towards your 230.50. I personally wouldn't like to see that. I'd like to see that push up and towards your previous day highs here on Apple. So mark out this level as well for potential continuation towards the upside. We'll keep an eye out on Apple coming into this morning just because it does have a higher time frame setup and we are above your Tuesday's highs plus your last week's highs as well. As for Tesla, just a lot more consolidation. We actually came all the way back down in towards our Monday's lows, kind of defending your Monday's lows. We also had this gap fill towards the downside, which we ended up filling as well from last week. Now you can see we're kind of holding this 334, just a lot more consolidation if we're looking at this week's price action. For any upside here, what we like to see is the reclaim back above your 338. That's going to be key here for Tesla if you want to see any sort of upside. If price rejects off this 338, then we're just going to come right back down in towards that 335. So for Tesla, key level 338 coming into today. As you can see, a lot of these names we're just kind of consolidating coming into really this week. There hasn't been too much continuation. Tesla, we're just kind of consolidating all week besides Monday. And then for the rest of the tickers, a similar kind of thing, right? We had some nice pushes, but overall, just a lot more consolidation. Apple, right, 235 is going to be key. As for Google, this one I do like based off of the higher time frames. We do have room up and towards our all-time highs key level. So as you can see here for Google, the next logical level that we have is going to be our all-time highs, 210. So if we can maintain, get above our key levels, the next logical level is going to be our all-time highs. Let's go back onto the lower time frames. So we have the 15-minute chart played out. The key level for Google coming into today is going to be this 205. You can see we have multiple touches off this 205. If we're now able to break above our 205 hold, potentially we can see this push up in towards our all-time highs, which is going to be that 208. So we'll keep an eye out on Google. Only if we can close above our 205 and hold above that 205, we can be looking for continuation higher. As for Microsoft, this one's staying heavy compared to the overall market. Key level still is going to be this 519. As for Meta, key levels that we have marked out is that 784. We also have our 789 marked out here as well, plus the area that we broke out from, which is our 773. So for Meta, now the key levels that we like to see reclaim and hold is going to be this 784. We like to see it maintain above this level for this push towards upside. If we're looking at this week's price action as well, similar thing, just a lot more consolidation in these general areas. And then for Amazon, Amazon's the one we mentioned that had a potential higher time frame breakout yesterday with this earnings reversal. Key level now on Amazon is going to be all the way back up and towards our full gap fill. So our full gap fill here is going to be this 234 plus all the way back up and towards this earnings highs. So for Amazon coming into today, this one recently broke out. Now we're having some continuation. Key level I'd like to see hold on this name is going to be that 231.50s. So we can draw at this level, 231.50s. As long as you can maintain your 231.50s, we can see this push up and towards your previous day highs in this full daily gap, which is going to be this 234 here on the higher time frame. So we'll keep an eye out on Amazon. And then for Netflix, this one is just coming right back up and towards your 1230. This is the level that you like to see reclaim. If you want to see an earnings reversal as well, you like to see price reclaim back above this level, hold for this continuation higher. So coming into today, the key levels that we have marked out, as I mentioned, we're just going to wait for core retail sales along with consumer sentiment that's later into the day. But the levels that we have marked out, 580 here on the Qs. For SPY, key levels that we have is going to be this 645.20s along with our previous all-time highs key level. And then really the names I'm going to be focused on today, at least right off the bat, I'll keep an eye out on Apple, Amazon. AMD still looks good. Similar thing with Nvidia, but those ones I'd like to see a little bit more stronger price action if we're going to look to play those coming into this morning. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, if you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, I'll go over some for the next kind of 15 minutes, and then we'll wait for core retail sales, which is at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as you can see here, and then we'll develop our game plan from there. Yeah, if you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, you guys can drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop me a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the watch list as well, that one is in the description below. As for my YouTube video, I actually have a YouTube video coming out tomorrow that's going to be at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go over up close and down close candles, which is very important. I use up close and down close candles every day in combination with other concepts as well, and that's what makes it so powerful. So order blocks in itself is great, but if you can use it in combination with your previous day highs or potentially your opening ranges, that's going to be the best. All right, let me go over some tickers coming into today. Let's see. How often do you look for reversal trades? Not as often. Majority of my trades, I do look for continuation. So UNH, gapping up 10% here. We did have some news yesterday that pushed us back towards the upside. You can see we ended up taking out this low. So we ended up taking out this low. We're having a nice mean reversion. We do have a decent amount of a decent amount of levels back towards the upside. The news event in this case just had to do with Warren Buffett. That's why we had some rumors, and then we end up having this nice gap back towards the highs. So for UNH, you can see a lot of these earnings reversal setups. Earnings reversal dropped us towards the downside. Once we're able to reclaim, end up having this nice earnings reversal back towards the highs. Now we're actually above your 290.250. So coming into today here for UNH, the key level you'd like to see hold is going to be this 294. So this 294 is a key level if you want to see any sort of continued push back towards the upside. Other key level we have marked out as well is going to be this 298. So you have your 294 along with your 298. Both these levels you like to see hold, preferably this 294 here on the higher time frames. If we're looking at this as well, as I mentioned, we have a bunch of room back towards the upside if price does want to potentially have this mean reversion. This, in my opinion, still in a very clear downtrend, right? Big drop, very clear downtrend. But if you do want to see some buyers step in, it's going to be above this 294, and potentially we can see a little bit of a nicer bounce back up and towards your 320 here on the higher time frames. But that's going to be the key level today, 294. INTC, similar thing here. INTC, nice pop as well. Filled that earnings gap that we talked about. So a lot of these earnings reversal setups that played out nicely. We talked about this one here as well yesterday with that earnings reversal setup. And now you can see price push all the way back up and towards that earnings high. So that earnings high is key. So now you can see we broke back above that earnings high. Now what you like to see is a hold above your earnings high, which is going to be your 24 key psych. So you can see a couple of reactions right here. Big pop in the pre-market or in the after hours. Now this is the exact level you want to see hold. Previous day highs along with your earnings highs, 24 key psych for this continued push back towards upside. And the other levels we can have marked out are just going to be your pre-market levels, which is going to be your 25 and above. So this is the level 24. You like to see a hold and maintain this level. All right, let's see what else. SoFi. So as for SoFi, you can see it's pulling back here just a little bit. Key levels that I have marked out is our 2380 along with our 2270. So a little bit of a pullback here on SoFi. Higher time frame still very much intact for continuation higher. You can see a little bit more consolidation the past 20 to 40 sessions. What I'd like to see is these higher lows be built. If you can build upon these higher lows, the next logical level is going to be the high that we created here from earnings, which is your 25 key psych. So that's what we have marked out on SoFi. Key levels, as I mentioned, 2270s along with this 2370s. As for Palantir, coming into today, the key levels that we have marked out is going to be this 180 key psych along with this 184. So Palantir slowing down just a little bit here, at least coming to this week. Key levels that we have marked out, 180 along with this 184. This is essentially where I want to see the buyers step in for this potential push back towards the upside. So your 180 key psych is going to be very important. If we actually break underneath this level, there is potential we could see your previous day lows and this low that we created all the way back from August of earlier this month, which is the 7th. So which is your 178 key level. So Palantir, this one's a little bit weaker. Keep an eye out on this 180 key psych. As for Hood, this one so far right around your previous all-time highs, your key level plus the area that we broke out from, which is now your 107. You can see some buyers stepping in here off this 107, trying to defend this key level yesterday. Now what we like to see for a potential mean reversion, reclaim back above this 110 for this push towards the upside. So this is going to be key coming into today. If we reject off this level, we can see some more downside. If we can reclaim back above your 111, we can see this push back up and towards your 113. As for some other tickers that we have here, open, this one's pushing back higher after having this nice pop earlier. As for open now, we're having this nice kind of mean reversion back towards the upside. So we based a decent amount. We got back above where earnings highs, which is key as well. So these earnings highs have been, there's been plenty of opportunities around these earnings highs and these earnings lows. So you can see once we got above that earnings high, we had a nice push higher. So key levels now that you're going to have marked out is going to be the high that we created here on the 22nd. So you can mark out your 369. We can also mark out this level here as well, which is your 344. So coming into today here for open, we're going to mark out previous day highs. If you do want to see any sort of upside above your previous day highs, hold for a potential move up and towards your 344 along with this 369 here on the higher time frames. All right, so for MSTR, key levels that we have, this one's dropping with the overall market. You can see now we're just coming right back down in towards key levels. In this case, the levels that we're going to have marked out is going to be this right here, which is your 360 on the higher time frames, which also happens to be this earnings low all the way back from August the 1st. So for MSTR key levels that we have marked out, we have this earnings low, which is your 360. We also have your 384 here as well. What we now like to see is the reaction that we have off these general areas. So for MSTR key levels, essentially the low that we created on Wednesday, and then we like to see the reaction that we have off your previous day lows here as well. So those are the key levels that we have marked out on the chart. Right now, currently, we're just right in between its previous day highs and its previous day lows. All right, let me scroll down here. Let's see, what's your trigger for Amazon? Amazon in this case, it would be now the hold above your 231. The Amazon's already in play, so now you just be looking for the hold above your 231.50s. So that's going to be the entry model coming into today, the hold at that level, or you'd be waiting for your previous day high break, which is going to be above your 233. Let's see, new video, let's go. What indicators do you use? I do have a few indicators. We also have the Traders Lab indicators, which just draws out levels as well. But primarily, I just use the charts in itself. But I do have a few indicators that I use based either off the 921 VWAP plus the key levels indicator that draws it out. When you say wait for news means we can't trade the 15-minute or before consumer sentiment, you can trade it before. It's just if the market has a clear direction or if you have your setup that presents itself, you could be looking for a trade before 10 a.m. But majority of the times, it's probably just going to consolidate because consumer sentiment, at least the actual consumer sentiment, is very important. So a lot of times markets will probably just not consolidate, but it won't have a clear direction until 10 a.m. So if you do look for 10 a.m., just be cautious of 10 a.m. So if you have a position, right, either sell before 10 a.m. or maybe have a trailer position, or right, you just want to be a little bit more cautious and wait for 10 a.m. for a clear direction in the charts. Let me go over a few more tickers as I explain, or as I answer these questions here. Let's see, Yo Jay, thanks for everything. Appreciate that. Let's see. Good morning. Let's see, do you trade platforms using TradingView? I chart on TradingView and then I'll use I'll chart on TradingView and then I'll use Interactive Brokers as my execution platform. So for Reddit, super nice retest off of your previous all-time highs. It's a perfect break and retest right off that 230.43. You can see price came right back down, retested this nicely right into market open. Buyers within the first 15 minutes pushed this all the way back up and towards the highs. And then we also had this immediate retest off your 237 later into the session. So that's what we have here on Reddit. Nice kind of retest off that 237. Other levels that we have marked out as well is going to be this 245. What we like to see now is a maintain above your 237 or the break above your 245 hold for this continuation towards upside. SMCI. Where's the free watch list? I'm trying to click on it, but I don't see the list. That one's in the description below. Let's see what else. Could you explain the previous day close as a break and retest level? Tony used it yesterday while trading in NVIDIA. It's just your previous day close. So previous day close, if you look at the regular trading sessions, is also a key level. Similar thing to its open. So we have our open, which is our opening range, and then we also have our close, which will be your previous day close. If you're looking for key levels in this case, right, it's just going to be this gap fill. So just another key level on a chart. It was primarily the reclaim. So as you can see right here, price pushes higher, right? Retest of your previous day close, and then it was the reclaim setup later into the session. The previous day close is going to be good because that's where your gap fill is. Plus, if you have multiple other confluences as well, that's going to even make it more high probability. All right, on. Oh, I think my internet kind of cut out. What we like to see is the break underneath this 45, hold underneath for this continuation lower. It does seem like I cut out here, but it should be back up. Yeah, it should be good. All right. Let's see. We just lost 4 post earnings. Can you comment on that ticker? Yeah, if earnings drops, that's more based off fundamentals. Not really too much to talk about. Let me see real quickly. Now it's just back into key levels of support. So you can see now we're just kind of retesting this 161. This is the level that you like to see hold, preferably, right? You could like to see it start basing above this level. This is a pretty big earnings drop. You're down about 14%. Good reputable firms that you like your trust. I personally don't trade any prop firms, but if you trade futures, Top Step, you have Apex, you have the major firms. As long as you go with those older firms, those ones are good. All right. We do have about 30 seconds here until core retail sales. Let's see. I'm using Traders Lab indicator. When you mark out key levels, are you using the same levels as the Trading Lab indicator? Correct. Could you go through your strategy based on yesterday's market? Yesterday seemed sucky, maybe on AMD, NVIDIA. Yeah, there were just this week in itself, there isn't too much opportunity, just a lot more consolidation. We haven't had too much continuation above its previous day highs. All right, let's talk about core retail sales here. Yeah, if my audio is messed up, then you can look to refresh it and it should be good. Okay, we just had core retail sales. As you can see, it basically just came in line with expectations. So right here, core retail sales came into the market, basically came in line with expectations. Retail sales month over month, 0.5. Where the forecasted was 0.6. So basically came in line with expectations. So we'll see what shapes up here with the overall market. A main thing here now is going to be this consumer sentiment, which is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Plus, as you can see, Trump is speaking here as well. So for the markets today, key levels, as I mentioned, is going to be this 6492. Your 6492 here is going to be key. You can see some buyers stepping in the pre-market. We like to see the reaction that we have off that general area. As for the NQ, the key levels that we're going to have marked out now is just going to be this 23,940. That's going to be key here. And then we're also going to mark out this 23,860 as well. For the SPY key level that we can have marked out is going to be this 645. Essentially your previous day highs plus your 646. So that's what we have here for the SPY. We really want to see the reaction that we have off these general areas. The game plan today is if we can reclaim back above your 646, we can see this nice continued push back towards the upside. For the QQQ, the key level that we have is going to be the reclaim back above your 580. If you can reclaim back above your 580, we could see this continue push back towards the highs. So that's what we have for the major indices, at least coming into today. As for my top watches, We'll go over that now. So for NVIDIA, this one's just been consolidating. The game plan's still intact. I'm still waiting for the break above your 184. That's going to present the best opportunity. As for AMD, this key level that I'm going to have marked out is going to be your 179. Similar thing to yesterday. I like to see it maintain above this level for a potential continued pushback towards the upside. My main watch coming into today is going to be primarily Apple and Amazon. I also do like Google here as well. What I like to see on Apple is kind of this push up in towards your 235. This would be based off of your opening range, or now it's going to be the break above your 235 for this continuation towards the upside. So we'll keep an eye out on Apple coming into today. As for some other names I like, Amazon above your 231.50s. If you can maintain above your 231.50s, we can see this continuation up and towards your 233 and this 234. And then for other names that we do have in this case is going to be other names that we do have is going to be Google, Google above your 205. So you can see multiple touches here on Google. If we can break above 205 hold, we can see this continuation towards upside. So we'll keep an eye out on Google here as well. Yeah, if you guys are cutting in and out, then you can always refresh the stream. I guess if you can't hear, then you can't hear me say that. All right, let's see what else we have here. Yeah, as for the rest of the names, we'll just really keep an eye out on consumer sentiment. That's going to be key. So most likely, at least right off the bat, what we're going to do is wait for the first 30 minutes to play out. So if we have a trade that sets up within the first 15 minutes that has a lot of relative strength, I wouldn't be opposed to taking it. But if we just consolidate and it's not very clear, most likely just going to wait for the first 15 to 30 minutes to play out, because we do have consumer sentiment that is at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So after 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, then we can be looking for a clear direction in the overall markets. We do expect a lot of volatility today just because consumer sentiment is at 10 a.m. and that's a major red folder news event. Plus, we do have Trump speaking as well. So that is primarily what I have coming into today. If we are looking for names that are a little bit weaker, we can keep an eye out on Palantir, other names as well. Let's go over them really quickly. We do have MSTR that's showing a little bit more weakness. Another name that ended up having a nice push lower yesterday as well was Circle underneath that 150, which we talked about. Nice kind of break and retest underneath its previous day lows for a nice continuation lower. Now what we have is a gap towards the downside, which we actually end up filling. So that's what we have for Circle coming into today. Yeah, which we actually just hit here in the pre-market. So that's what we have for the overall markets. Yeah, if you guys do have any maybe questions or any tickers you'd like me to go over for the next 5 minutes, I'll probably sit here for the next 5 minutes and then I'll get ready for market open. Nice opportunities today. Yeah, I agree. I think there's going to be a decent amount of volatility just with consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. as well. What site do you pull up for news? For news, I use Forex Factory. There's other economic calendars here as well. As for gold, I mean, really not too much to talk about, just a lot more consolidation on gold. Still, the key levels that we have marked out is kind of this, right? We're building up liquidity on both sides until we're really able to break above or break below, just a lot more consolidation. So that's what we have for gold. As for key levels, we're going to have marked out is going to be this 3346. There's been plenty of potential opportunities around this general area. CRWV. So CRWV, a bunch of these IPO names are now moving lower. As you can see, we also had earnings, which ended up dropping this towards the downside. So for CRWV, key levels that we have marked out is that 107, really nice push right off the bat towards the downside. Now we're underneath key levels here as well, which is our 100 key psych. So for CRWV, you can see this is a very key level, 100 key psych. Now we end up retesting this here in the overnight session. Now we can expect continuation lower because we're now underneath 101, right? Retesting this continuation towards the downside. Next levels on CRWV. I mean, this actually has a lot of room towards the downside. Really, the next down close candle all the way back down in towards your 70 key psych. But for CRWV key levels, at least the next one you can mark out is going to be this 89, 89.12. So we have your 100 key psych, you have your pre-market lows, and you have your 89.12. If you consolidate, potentially get underneath your pre-market lows, continuation lower. Another possible scenario, kind of the retest of your previous day lows, pop and fade off this 100 key psych for this push down towards the downside. All right, let's see. Let's go over bull. As for Webull, this one, fresh IPO, now we're basing. Eventually, it's going to have a big move, but I'd like to see a bigger base here, but you can see it kind of pops, fades off the 17 key psych. Now the next level that we do have, yeah, really the 17 key psych here. And then we have other levels as well, which is going to be the level that we're currently at, 1560. So we had pretty big reaction not too long ago. Key levels now we're just going to have marked out 16 key psych. That price is going to have to get above if you want to see any sort of potential continuation back towards the upside. I would just wait for some sort of news event in this ticker, or you just wait for that consolidation break. Always with gold, yeah, exact same thing. Let's see. How do you choose your strike? Just focus on one. Yeah, one out the money or one with most volume. And I choose weeklies. In this case today, it's 0 days, so it's on Friday. So you choose either one. You can choose at the money or one out the money. But you want to be a little bit more cautious today since it is 0 days. So if you are going to risk the exact same amount, then you have to size in half. As for IWM, this one's pulling back on TradingView. Can you add the orb? I'll use it whatever time you want. Yeah, you can use the primary. The best orb is going to be the 1, 5, and 15 if you're going to use the opening range break. Do you use the 1 minute time frame to get into the retest? Yeah, you like using the 1 minute time frame to get more precise entries. As for IWM, the key levels that we have is your 226. So we have your 226 here marked out. You can see nice retest all the way yesterday, came right back in towards our key level. Now what we like to see on IWM is going to be the reclaim back above your 229 for this continued push back up and towards your 230. Could you go through your strategy based on yesterday's markets? I wouldn't say it's just the key levels I had drawn out. So there wasn't really too much yesterday. Primarily, it was looking for right Amazon, right the break above the higher time frame break. I was looking for a reclaim, but this one just consolidated a little bit more with the overall markets. Clearly, this isn't loading here as well. I don't know why it's not loading, but that one I was looking for a reclaim, and that one just kind of consolidated. Eventually, it moved later into the session, but the overall market was consolidating, so that's why this one was a little bit slower. All right, let's see. How do you feel about trading on Fridays in general? For day trading, so normally Fridays present nice opportunity. Just because there's, at least today, there's red folder news. So generally speaking, Fridays, at least the past couple of Fridays have been fairly solid just because there's been a decent amount of volatility plus 0 days, but that also means it's a little bit more riskier. So for Fridays in general, I'd usually be a little bit more cautious just because you are playing 0 days if you're trading options, if you're trading futures. Generally speaking, Mondays and Fridays are a little bit slower days, but usually there's some nice opportunities that we've had the past couple of weeks on Fridays. Plus today, as I mentioned, consumer sentiment, so we'll see what shapes up here as well. As for HIMS, this one breaking underneath this 47 key level that we have is going to be this 47. So you can see a little bit of a pop in the power hour and then drop here in the after hours, which pushes towards the downside. So now key levels you're going to have marked up previous day lows, what you like to see break underneath previous day lows for continuation towards the downside. So that's what we have for HIMS. All right. I'll answer like one more question here. Should there be a good displacement on reclaims or just normal reclaims valid for entries? You'd like to see displacement. That's when it's going to have the most momentum, is when we can reclaim a level with strong price action and have really strong buyers stepping in. So the best reclaims are going to have displacement, and then they're going to be also not breakouts, but it's going to be the reclaim of the entry and not the retest. All right. I am going to quickly go over my game plan. So we're just going to wait most likely now for consumer sentiment. If we just stay inside of its range right off the bat, levels that I'm going to have marked out, we already have them marked out and already went over them. So we're just going to wait for any sort of relative strength and weakness. Google does look good, so we'll keep an eye out on Google. now potentially breaking above your previous day highs. This one does have room towards all-time highs, right? 206 and above. So we'll keep an eye out on Google. If potentially it wants to have relative strength, it does have room up and towards that all-time highs level. So keep an eye on this one. And then for the rest of the names, most likely just wait until 10 a.m. just because we have consumer sentiment. And then we'll have to develop essentially our game plan from there. But yeah, that is going to be it for me today. If you guys did enjoy that, appreciate if you guys drop me a like. YouTube video coming out tomorrow that is going to be on up close and down close candles, which is going to be a good video at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys do want to join the watch list, that one is also in the description below. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Also, have a great weekend as well. All right, take care, everyone. Peace.